On this outstanding episode of the Behind the Mask podcast, we chop it up about the NFL 2021 draft, the winners and the losers, who you like. Also, does draft position matters? Then we will briefly touch on the perception versus the reality when you walk inside of an NFL locker room. Last but not least, your gear has to be right on draft day. Some people did it well, some people didn't.
Here we go with this again, man. You always trying to throw shots. Anyway, man, check this out. We gonna have a great episode. All the players living a lifelong dream, making it to the NFL Draft 2021. Behind the mask, we're gonna tell our stories too. Let's go.
Let's go behind the mask.
Welcome to this draft edition of the Behind the Mask podcast. I am your host, Takeo Spikes, and I got to call in my player partner, Two. What's happening?
What's going on? It's your favorite plus size model Tutan Reyes in the building. Spice, what's good, family?
Man, everything is good, bro. Like, this day never gets old. Even though we may get a little older, but draft day never gets old. We're going to do a draft day recap, briefly talk about it. We don't want to cover the coverage, but we do have to address it.
Most def, man. It's just one of the most polarizing times of year. Remember, we back in the days we used to go to New York and do the fundraisers for Beyond the Boroughs and get it in and raise some money for charity. But the whole process was enjoying the first round of the NFL draft, the whole draft for that matter, because these players, these young men, have an opportunity to change their lives as they know it, fulfill their dreams, make it to the NFL, be part of that 1.6% of athletes that play football to make it to the NFL.
Yeah, and they are subject matter experts when they come into this draft, man. And I look at a lot of kids who are they made a lot of big steps. Now I will say this. I was a little disappointed. The girlfriends didn't give me exactly what we wanted. And you know that too. I was hoping to see some girlfriends steal the show, knock mom out the way and get the hug first. I think the best one I saw. Of course, we got to address CD Lamb. That was funny, bro.
Yeah, that was classic,
funny, bro.
That was classic, yo. She tried to reach for the cell phone, and CD was like, "Nah, yo, you chill right there. Just hold what you got right now. Just relax. You know what I'm saying?"
Oh yeah, dog. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Yeah. Who were the biggest winners and losers, in your opinion, of the draft?
Oh man, I think some of the teams, but a lot of teams, obviously, when you go into the draft, what you want to do is address your needs, things that you didn't do quite well the previous year. But I think for me, one that stuck out, I liked your former team, the 49ers, man, what they did, drafting Trey Lance, quarterback from North Dakota State, addressing the need. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo, he was supposed to be the savior for the 49ers franchise, got banged up a little bit. When he plays good, looks great. But sometimes gets inconsistent. Of course, and with the injuries, you never know what that future is going to hold. So I think what they're going to do, what Shanahan's going to do, is now you got a rookie, North Dakota State, just lit it up. Even though it's a lower level of competition in D1, you know what I'm saying? But he's still polarizing. Nice, can get it done with his arm, strong arm, and is a mobile quarterback. So I think that was great. And of course, the Niners addressed the need. Running back room was flooded out there in San Fran. However, they don't have any running backs that rushed over 700 yards last year. So now you go to Ohio State, formerly from University of Oklahoma, formerly from Sprayberry, Yellow Jackets right here in Kennesaw, Georgia. We're talking about Trey Sermon. You know what I'm saying? Did his thing in the national championship, all the way up to the national championship before he got injured.
Right.
But just a dynamic running back, and I think people really slept on him. For the Niners to be able to get him all the way in the third round and address the need when you want more depth and to challenge some of the veterans that are already in that locker room, you can establish that run game, and you have your heir apparent at the quarterback position. So I think the Niners in a real good position. So that's one team that's one team I really like what the Niners did. And I think staying in that division, NFC West, man, I think for me, the Seahawks, bro, Russell Wilson, the rumors after the season last year were that he didn't want to be in Seattle anymore. Why? Because the Seahawks did not address protecting him. One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when he's upright, can scramble and still make the plays, but who wants to scramble 30 times a game. You don't want to do that. It's not conducive to a productive career. And I think we saw with Russell Wilson's decline. You saw that, and the Seahawks, they only had 3 draft picks this year. They didn't trade up, and they literally sat there and drafted another wide receiver. You already got Tyler Lockett. You already got DK Metcalf out there. You know, shout out to Extras. You know, he's solid receiver. But why do you need another receiver? It don't matter if you got another receiver out there if you can't get the ball to him because your quarterback can't stand upright. So I think the Seahawks is really disappointed in terms of getting some protection to help out there for Russell. You know, it's going to be an uphill battle for them, though, bro. What about you? Who you thinking about?
No doubt, bro. And I feel the same way. Even when you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I feel the same way when I think about who really could have done better. And listen, it's a toss-up because at the end of the day, if everything works out, they can be looked upon as a genius. I understand why they went out and drafted Jamar Chase with their pick so early, top 5 pick, but top 10 pick overall. But my thing is this. You get Joe Burrows, he's reunited with Jamar Chase. Great talent. Love the pick of him himself. But your quarterback is only, or the receiver is only as good as the quarterback will allow him to be. Therefore, that quarterback has to get him the ball. Right. And if he can't get him the ball, that means something is wrong with the protection. I felt like they should have went ahead and got Penny, the offensive tackle from Oregon, Penny Sewell.
Sewell, yeah.
I think he should have been their first number 1 pick. Obviously, he was the top-rated tackle in the country last year in college football. I love the way that he plays, very athletic, powerful, and I think he's talented enough to be able to be switched in certain positions. Not saying that they will use him that way, but that's how highly I think of him when you talk about super talented. Now, my biggest winner, or somebody who impressed me for the draft too, I must admit, and I'm tired of hearing all of the New York Giants fans. They are always talking noise, including you, your former team. But you got to give it up to Dave Gettleman now. He went out. He traded back 2 times.
I was surprised.
When you look at the first 3 rounds, he traded back 2 times and still got quality players. First pick, Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. Listen, he's a big play waiting to happen. 70 catches last year for almost 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Bruh, he's a problem, right? Like he's really a problem. So they're really surrounding or really building up the offensive side with a lot of chess pieces. And then I think also the linebacker rush in that's coming out of Georgia. Azeez Ojulari, bruh. I know he dropped, and I really thought he should have been a first-round pick because this dude has been very disruptive. Now, word is, you know, some people was not sure because of his physical that he took, and he tore his ACL in high school. Dr. James Andrews actually cleared him, and so I don't know why he fell as late as he did. But what I will say is this: I think the Giants made some super moves. And they addressed quality positions. And when you look at that division, overall, the NFC East, ain't nobody really running away with it. You know what I mean? Damn near every team was close to having double-digit losses. You know what I mean? So when we look at from the previous year, so when we look at it and I look at it overall, they still picked up some more draft picks to build up the war piece for later. I thought they did a great job. So we'll make sure we look out for these cats moving forward, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you wish them all the best. You know what I'm saying? The thing about the draft that's so, I guess, compelling for these kids that's coming out, and even for you and I, is like one day you're living in one area and the next day you're in a completely different region. You know what I mean? You don't know where you're going. You have an idea because you talk to teams, you go through the draft process, the combine process, pro days, etc., interviews. But you never really know. You know what I mean? So I guess my thing is, for me, our situations were starkly different. We talk about it all the time, but does it really matter where you get drafted? Because, I mean, my opinion, you're reaching your lifelong dream since you were a kid. So doesn't matter if you drafted early, you drafted late, where you go.
Does it? Of course it does. You kidding me? And this is the reason why. Like I get it. You know, some people may think, well, as long as you get in, like you good. Like it's what you do with it now. And yes, you are right. But let me tell you what comes along with the expectations, I would probably say, of why it matters. Because I went first round, 13th pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. The first thing why it matters is like, yeah, it's your lifelong dream. But look, bro, like, man, my family was in debt. And so I changed the family trajectory, not just for the immediate family, but for generations to come, the security of knowing you got the bag. And so when I think about that, bro, like that's huge for me. Like it's huge. I had the opportunity to have my draft day. Back then in '98, they were not inviting everybody to the draft like they do now. They were only inviting like the top 5 picks. But for me, I spent my draft day experience at Planet Hollywood. And you know, back, you know, that was the big thing. And
that was a joint,
we
yeah.
shut down the whole joint, everybody bamming on the windows outside. I brought all of the family there. And bro, it was just cool to be able to experience, you know, getting the phone calls, Atlanta calling, you know, Chicago even called saying, you know, hey, it might be a possibility. But, you know, all in all through it, man, that's the reason why it matters, because I changed my family trajectory. And then also you have a little about you. Like, I like the pressure or people expecting, like, you know what? They say he can ball. I like that. Like it gave me a little edge walking into that locker room because I knew I had to earn the respects of the veterans, and we'll get into that a little later. But my expectations walking in, it gave me a chip on my shoulder, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna disappoint either.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? I think in the beginning it matters, right? So to your point, you went 13th overall, but we had this conversation. You thought you were going like 10th, I think, to the Falcons, or 12th to the Falcons, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I guess if you want to call 12 to 13 slipping, okay, we can do that. But the reason I say that it really doesn't matter is the flip side of that, to where once you're in that locker room, once you get drafted, once you get that phone call, and my situation was way different. I was at my mom's house down here in Georgia, and I was waiting for the phone call too. But the difference is why I say in the beginning it matters is I was projected to go in some publications in the second round, late second round, early third round, right?
Right.
And when you see your name on that ticker on Mel Kiper's best available, and your name is up there, you're like, shit, I'm getting ready to go. I'm coming off the board. But it went from the second round, which back then was the first day, the end of the first day, all the way to the 5th round. So that's like the 3rd day, bro, second or third day. So imagine you're waiting, you're seeing your name on the ticket, best available, and it's just not happening. That's like brutal, it's excruciating. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I literally left everybody. We had a party at my mother's house. So I left everybody, went upstairs, and finally got a phone call from New Orleans, and they said, you know, do you want to come play for the Saints? I was like, hell yeah. You in shape? Hell yeah. I'm ready to rock. You know, so that part in the beginning, yes, it matters. Yes, I didn't have the second round money, thinking that, you know, to your point, you can get your family out of debt. Yes, when we come into the NFL, chances are we are the first generation millionaires in our family, because a lot of us just don't have that generational wealth. I get that. So in the beginning, it matters. However, when I look back at it, and I'm like, 10 years later, played in the NFL for 10 years, right? Didn't play the entire time, but I was on the active roster for 10 years. I look back to all of the tackles and guards that were drafted ahead of me in my 10th year. I think there was 1 or 2 players. Chad Clifton was one, and I believe Cozy Coleman. The only 2 players that still stood the test of time and duration. All of these players that lasted ahead of me. So that's why I say it doesn't matter. And there's still 1 player that was drafted in 2000 that is still playing today, and he got drafted.
Who would
after
that
me.
might be? Tutan.
He got drafted after me, and he's just won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady. That's why I'm saying that draft position does not matter. You know the other person that played like 13 years from 2013, 14 years?
Who?
Sebastian Janikowski, a kicker. Kicker that went first round, got drafted first round. Tom Brady in what, the 6th round? Yep. And he lasted 20-something years. That's what I'm saying. It's a matter of what you do with it when you're put in that position. You got an opportunity to play. Again, it's our lifelong dream. We love what we do. And the difference is, what do you do with it when you get in that locker room? What's the perception versus that reality? Because the perception is, yeah, you're a first-round pick. You know, you the one that's buying all the cookies, buying all the chicken, buying all the donuts. You know what I'm saying? Paying $20,000 for the team dinner. I'm a 5th-round pick. They was like, nah, you know what? We got you. I got Willie Rofe behind in front of me. I got Kyle Turley in front of me. My brother Wally Williams is like, what you gonna do? You ain't beating out Willie. Kyle just got drafted in the 1st round. You ain't beating out him. Naoli's a 1st-round pick. They just paid him. Jerry Fontenot is a center. You can't snap. And he said, they just broke me off and gave me a bunch of money. So you damn sure ain't beating me out. So he said, you know what you are this year? I said, what?
What?
He said, your ass is a well-paid spectator. He said, make your money. He said, make your money, have fun, party all you want. Make sure you make curfew, don't get in no trouble, and learn the game because your ass ain't playing. Bar in the act of God, you ain't playing. And guess what? I ain't played that first year, bro.
At all?
I ain't sniffed the field. 2nd year, the same linemen were back. You got Hall of Famers up there in 1st-round picks. I ain't played that 2nd year. However, when I finally got on the field and started playing, made the best of my opportunity. But it's what happens. What's the perception versus the reality in that locker room, though?
Oh, no doubt, bro. And like, I think about, you know, the perception is when you walk inside of that NFL locker room, bro, it's like, I got off of, you know, cats looking at me like, all right, let me see if this dude really worth his salt.
Right.
And like that did it for me. Now the perception is you're supposed to be able to play, but the reality of it is you have guys inside of the locker room who are looking at you and they will let you know. It's at least one on every team. And I remember we had this guy, man, in Cincinnati, Bernard Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He did not care. He was the previous year. He went 1st round as well. He did not care who you are, who you were, what position you was drafted at. He did not care. He was going to call it like he saw it.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in day one. I took a visit to Florida State, actually met Bernard then. Mm-hmm. But this dude was like, soon as I walk in the locker room, all right, Spikes, we don't see if you can play some ball today, boy. We don't see if you can play. And I'm like, you know, and now everybody is like, all right, damn, he calling them out. I'm like, why you think I'm here?
Yeah.
Y'all would not have brought me here if everybody else was doing what they were supposed to be doing. Matter of fact, you would not even brought B. Simmons in either. So, you know, so now it really raised the antenna. So when you talk about perception versus reality, the reality of it is this. Even though coaches are patient, they are very patient. GMs are very patient. But the players want instant success right now. Yeah. And that's that peer pressure that not only he put on me, but even after some preseason games, you know, we would pause the tape and we'll be watching and like, and we would just check out and be like, Spikes, what? I remember one time I missed a tackle in a preseason game. And no, I messed up when I had a bad play. I did not know the play, so I just looked like a chicken with my head cut off out there running around. And I remember he was like, Coach, stop the tape. And I remember him saying, Spikes, what the fuck are you doing? Man, you look like a chicken with your head cut off out there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard critique, but you know, you can't be soft. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to take it and run with it. And so that's the biggest thing that I saw as a reality check. It's like every day when you walk on that field, every day when you walk inside of that locker room, every day when you're inside of that meeting room, you have to prove yourself. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, the accountability.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. And what happens is whatever you perceive yourself as, like I've said in the past, everybody was nice wherever you came from in college, right? If you were in the SWAC, chances are you were all SWAC, right? If you were in SEC, you were all SEC or all American, whatever it is. But it's almost like you got to press the reset button on a video game once you get to the NFL because everybody's nice in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So you do got to hold your weight. You got to prove yourself over and over again. And I think one of the things that I do recall when you talk about the perception and reality, you kind of had an idea that you knew that you were going to make the roster, right?
Yep.
I remember I played the first preseason game, as all the rookies do. I played the second one. Third game, I didn't even think I played. So I don't think I played. So by the time the fourth game came, I had an interview before the fourth game, and one of the reporters was asking me, how do I feel about my chances of making a roster? And I'm sitting there like, I know I just ain't played, so why are you asking me this now? So I'm like, y'all know something I don't know? Maybe this is part of the game. Maybe I'm not going to make it. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there like, well, you know, it's up to the coaches. I know I've done what I could do to get out there, but we'll just see how it goes. So that fourth preseason game, I did my best to go off. Went against John Randall, yo. I don't know what. Oh, man. When I say he shook me out.
You held your own against John Randall, didn't you, too?
I'm going to tell you this is how they got me. And this is something for these rookies. This is how they got me. So again, all the veterans don't play in the last preseason game, right?
Yeah.
So they had I think Wally had went out there, but then right before the game, he acted like he was going to start. So right before the offense went out, he just came to the sideline. It was like, yo, two, get in there. I'm like, I thought I was going to get in there with the twos or whatever. I get out there. John Randall's out there. Now we on a third down, so it's about to be 3 and out, right? If we don't get this first down. Man, I get out there. John Randall comes off the ball, shakes me, gets on the inside, right? I'm playing guard. So he gets to the inside, and literally, if he would have kept going, he would have sacked the quarterback. But he stopped, started laughing, and jogged off the field and just looked back at me. I was like, yo.
He gave you a gimme.
He gave me mad love, yo. And I was going to wait for him to come on the podcast to tell him that. But my rookie year, he was obviously a Hall of Famer, incredible defensive tackle. But it just showed me how fast the game is. One thing you can't do, even if it's the preseason, you can't let up because these dudes is coming. These dudes is coming, man. And I got back to the sideline, everybody laughing like, yo, you ain't know it was like that, huh? I was like, nah, you going to get the twos and the threes, you killing them. But John Randall, and he's a rookie, I was like, yeah, man. So I'm just glad that it worked out in my benefit. But, it's a blessing. Everybody, all the young players out there, your life has changed forever starting this weekend. You know what I'm saying? You're getting out there, live a lifelong dream, something you aspire to do since you was a kid. Embrace it, but this is only the beginning. I think this is one of the best times of the year. We talk about free agency. We talk about winning the Super Bowl. We talk about week 1 when this NFL season starts. But the draft is another dope time of the year, bro.
Oh, no question, bro. And like you said, they should enjoy it. And it's monumental what they have been able to accomplish. But if it's one thing that I don't even wish, like, we don't have to because we going behind the mask. The one lesson that I want to send to all of those guys who the trajectory of their life, generational wealth, they're going to attain it now, and they can change all of that. But the thing I want to leave with them too is this. It's cool to have fun. And I'll never tell you what you shouldn't do with your money, right? Like, well, I ain't gonna say I won't tell you what to do with the money, but I will say this. Just know this. Anybody, like if you want to be that baller, you want to be that guy who got the bag and have longevity in the game, listen, man, I dare you to be different. And this is what I mean. Anybody who's bringing in X amount of money, anybody can go to Vegas. Anybody can go to south of France. Yeah. You can do whatever you want to do. And it's cool. You can blow a lot of bread. We've all done it. Fair. But my challenge to you is this. Anybody can spend money when they're making it at that rate. But the true definition of balling is when you out of the game 5 to 10 to 15 years and your lifestyle is still the same as it was when you were playing. So now that puts the responsibility back on you as an individual to know, hey, I'm not telling you can't have fun because you should. I know I did. But what I am saying is this. If you really want to be known as that baller and you want it to be sustainable, Hey, man, instead of you going out picking up tabs the whole night for everybody, man, take some of your partners and everybody bust it down at the end of the night. You know what I mean? Like, that's preserving some of that bread, man. And then at the end of the day, when you out of the game, like, you good. You ain't got to worry about, depending on somebody else or saying, oh, this person did this to me. Yeah, watch your coin. At the end of the day, watch your coin.
Most def. If I have anything to say, we say this all the time, know your personnel. You know what I'm saying? Watch for the people that when you do go to those dinners, watch for the people that, have to conveniently go to the bathroom or get on their phone and start texting when that bill comes. You know what I mean? Know your personnel. Yeah. Know your personnel, man. Watch those people, because those same people that are comfortable riding the wave, you know what I'm saying? When you surfing in the beginning, when it's over, they might not be the same people that's gonna give you a life jacket when you drowning, bro. So know your personnel, you know what I'm saying? Embrace it, love it, make sure your family is good and all of that. Embrace it, man. And it's a journey, it's not a destination. It literally just started.
Yep.
And it can be taken away from you the next day. You know what I'm saying? So happy for everybody. Love the draft. I'm still cool with where I was drafted at. You know what I mean? I know you took my first round pick and all of that. Yeah. All that's good. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a lifelong dream, and you're still part of that fraternity, the largest fraternity in the world. 1.6%, less than 1.6% of people that play football, high school football, make it to the NFL, and that's just crazy. So definitely embrace it.
Oh, no doubt, bro. And last thing too, I was G'd up on my draft day. I had the suit on, the custom suit, and I just thought about this because it matters, right? That's the reason why I had mine like that.
Yeah.
But I just want to, what was your outfit like on draft day?
I had a wife beat on, bro. I had a wife beat and some shorts.
You had a what?
I had a tank top and some shorts on, bro. And I remember your draft picture. And you know what's crazy? Like I said, it was a stark difference in situations. You know what I mean? You knew you was going first round. After that first day passed, I had my jeans on, my nice outfit to go out that first night to celebrate. But after I didn't make it, we still went out in Atlanta, went to Buckhead, hung out, whatever. But the next day, when I'm seeing all these guys pass and I'm still not getting picked, I just woke up and started watching the draft by myself in my mom's room. I literally had a tank top on. I went up there by myself. I'm watching it. Like I said, the Saints call. And it was just me and my mother in the room, everybody downstairs. And when my name came across the ticket, everybody roared, ran upstairs. And my son, Ty, he was probably 1.5 at the time. He wasn't comfortable walking up the steps. Everybody left him downstairs in the living room. And he's sitting there crying. I'm like, yo, go get my son. So I'm crying and everything. But, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, yo, we still made it. Longevity, 10 years for me, 15 for you. My swag wasn't all that. Your suit was a little bit baggy. You had the Steve Harvey suit, so don't act like you was that fly.
I did not have a Steve Harvey suit. It was in between. Let's get the record straight.
Oh, man, no doubt. You still here, though, man, so, it's always a blessing, bro.
Always a blessing, man. We really appreciate you guys joining us to hear us go behind the mask on the Draft Day edition, NFL 2021. So now, this is what you need to do. Make sure you subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend.
Also, leave some comments. Let us know whose draft day outfit was better, me or Takeo. You can also listen to the Behind the Mask podcast on your favorite podcast platforms. Make sure you follow us on social media as well at the BTM podcast. We're bringing you that heat all season 3. And remember, on the Behind the Mask podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. But we'll wife beat it anywhere.
Oh.